the reason, the rhyme, 5 things that mean something to me and the reason why. This time, it's a slightly different. This is the start of a series, which we'll dip in and out of occasionally, and I'm going to put this a little bit more straight, there we go. These are dates in my calendar that mean something to me. So it's my birthday, birthdays of my daughter, my mum and dad, my sister. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through my almost 52 years to those particular days and see what was in the charts, what was in the top 40 on those days. I mean, obviously my daughter wasn't born in 73, but I'm going to go back on her birthday in 73 and have a look. See what kind of music was around on those days. Some of the days will be slightly different as well. Some will be sort of date and year specific. For example, me passing my driving test is a really important thing, so we'll go back to that in 1990. Might be a few other bits and pieces thrown in there, but normally it's going to be birthdays. So thank you to Mandy for suggesting this as well. Not only because it's a really good idea, but because I'll have 52 of these to do. That'll keep me going for ages. Well, a full year. In fact, 52 weeks, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm going to go and have a look at all of these dates going back for the last 51, almost 52 years. There should be some really interesting music coming up in this, definitely. And I'm going to start off with my actual, not my birthday, but the week I was born, 1973. And it's going to be T-Rex, 20th Century Boy. And I was a 20th century boy. I was a boy in the 20th century, I'm not now, am I? The 21st. T-Rex, a fantastic band. Lumped in with the glam rock thing because I suppose they sort of were. But I always thought there's a bit more to T-Rex than the glam. It wasn't just the makeup and glitter on the face and what have you. Mark Bowie always said he couldn't play guitar. He could. He wasn't a virtuoso by any stretch of the imagination, but he could play. They wrote some really, really good, catchy songs of their era, but also, if you listen back to them now, they're really good sort of, I don't know, wedding disco songs. And I don't mean that in a bad way at all. Everyone knows them, everyone gets up and starts boogieing away. Kind of things that if you went into town of a Friday or Saturday night, you could hear them in certain bars and clubs and what have you. But if you listen to the albums as well, there's some really, really good stuff that never made it as big hits, like with most bands, I suppose. But this is a fantastic tune, 20th Century Boy, T-Rex, superb. Up next is my Ma's birthday in August, and the song I've chosen out the top 40 that particular week is David Bowie, Life on Mars. Now there are some songs which sound or are synonymous with a particular era. And for me, maybe it's because I was born in 73, but Life on Mars is that song. It's very much the sound of 73. And like a lot of Bowie stuff, I mean, it's not just him that did this, there's plenty of artists that done it, but he was particularly good at it. He could make things sound contemporary and completely futuristic at the same time. So it's the sound of 1973, but it genuinely could also have been 2043. Just, it's an incredible artist at being able to tune into the zeitgeist and not only what was going on but what was going to happen soon, and picking the right people around him to make the kind of music that he wanted to make. And I just think, if you've not heard, you must have heard Life on Mars, come on, you must have done. If not, why not? You should have done. But also go back and listen to some of his stuff. Doesn't matter whether it's from the start or towards the end of his career, it's all fantastic. Even the Laughing Gnome has got a certain charm. I'm joking, it was fucking shite. But his conversion rate from songs into fantastic songs is better than most. So yeah, that's the sound of 73. It's also in the top 40 around my Ma's birthday. Right, for my sister's birthday, it is The Sweet, Blockbuster. I feel sorry for The Sweet. They get lumped in with the rest of the glam bands, and well, obviously quite rightly so if you have a look at the Top of the Pops appearances. But that's all people think they are. They seem to think they're sort of a cut price Slade, which they're not. If you go and listen to some of the album tracks, I know it's difficult to find the albums nowadays, but there's some really good stuff, and they're quite heavy as well. They're not a throwaway, I don't know, party glam band. They're not a proper band. It's not just the hits, the glitz and the ballroom blitz. These are a proper band. Blockbuster's a good tune anyway, but if you can find the albums, just go and check some of the album tracks. You'll see what I mean. They're much better than, a Pound, Stretcher, Slade, if you know what I mean. Go and check them out, Blockbuster. Sweet. Next is my daughter's birthday, and I know she wasn't born in 1973. I'm not stupid, but I'm going to do this anyway. So, what was in the top 40 on the date of her birth? I'm going to go for The Faces and Cindy Incidentally, which is a brilliant song. Now, I always sort of dismiss The Faces out of hand because, one, they were not the small faces. And as soon as you lose Steve Marriott out of any band, you're losing a huge amount of appeal for that band. And I also thought it was a bit of a holding pen for Ronnie Wood waiting for the Rolling Stones to turn up, and for, Rod Stewart to wait for spandex to be invented. And I couldn't be further from the truth. Any band that's got Ronnie Lane in it has got to be worth listening to for a start. But also, Rod Stewart was a brilliant vocalist. If you ignore all the Do You Think I'm Sexy and the leopard print, what have you. Listen to the stuff that he did with Jeff Beck in the late 60s, absolutely superb. And then the stuff with The Faces. His voice is in absolute top form, singing lots of growly, bluesy stuff. It's absolutely superb. So I did go back to them later on in my musical life, and I've got much more appreciation for them now. So that's a fantastic, absolutely superb song from a superb band. Ooh, Train. Told you, I wasn't lying. We had The Faces. Still not as good as the Small Faces, but can't have everything, can you? Up next is my dad's birthday, 1st of October. I can tell you that because, well, his birthday's on Wikipedia, so sound. And what was in the top 40? In 1973, on the 1st of October, around that week, 26B, bit of Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On. The sweet, sultry soul sounds of Marvin. Absolutely amazing. Went on to become the voice of disaffected black youth in America. And let's face it, if there was a Hall of Fame for cool bastards, he'd be in it, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he? I mean, wouldn't he? You must know it. Everyone's heard it. And if you haven't, what are your parents playing for you? What are they playing? Have a word. And if they don't know it, play it for them instead. 26B, bit of Marvin, Let's Get It On. Well, that was 1973, and if nothing else, looking through those top 40s for 1973 for those 5 days has taught me one thing. Music was so much better than the old days. Not just in terms of the quality of the songs or anything like that, it's the variety. If you just go back and look at any year, pick any date at random and look what was in the top 40 back in the 70s, even into the 80s. The variety in music was absolutely amazing. The top 40 wasn't full of songs that sounded the same at all. Absolutely incredible. Nowadays, everything sounds the same because it's all written to satisfy an algorithm. Art should never be created either due to or to satisfy an algorithm, because that way it's no good can come from it at all. It's art. It should be art for art's sake. So if you're in a band, use your own voice, make your own music. Don't care about how many streams you hit on Spotify. Don't care about hitting algorithms. Make it for the sake of art. Make it to satisfy yourself. And if you enjoy it, trust me, other people will do as well. That was 73, good year. I was born. And And we're not going to go in sort of chronological order. I'll just pick and choose as and when I feel like. That's your first one done anyway. So there you go. There's my 5 things that mean something to me and the reasons why. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like that 5, why not check out these next? Or even these?